First item will be the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve this agenda.
Motion by Mrs. White, do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Long. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, Delane makes 5. None opposed, motion carries. Next item is the action item, tentative approval of the 2018 millage rate. Ms. Smith?
I didn't know if Dr. Wilson
do you want
wanted
talk
to
about
open.
this, Dr. Wilson?
Well, I'd just like to start out by saying that I would like to recommend tentative approval of a millage rate of 15.33%, which would be a reduction again. And Ms. Smith is going to tell us a little bit about it, but if I understand it correctly, it's the smallest amount since 2008.
Largest
I mean,
reduction.
yes.
Largest reduction.
The largest reduction since 2000. No, wait a minute. Let's get that straight.
It's a reduction in the millage rate.
It's the reduction in the millage rate that goes back to 2008.
It will be the largest reduction since 2008,
Yes.
so the last 10 years.
All right, Ms. Smith, you want to tell a little bit about it?
Sure. What I gave y'all copies of are 3 things. One is what's called the PT 32.1, and this is the Georgia Department of Revenue form that we just go in and download with about 30-something pages of instructions, where we put in 17 and 18's digest. We have to get information from the tax assessor on the reassessment values in the county, and then also we have the digest from the county commissioner and another form from the county commissioner in order to complete this form. But this calculates, if you'll look down in the middle section that's just white, right in the middle it says computation of percentage increase in property taxes. It says what we would have to roll back to for it to not be considered a tax increase, just so y'all know what that is. And that would be 15 point, and y'all, I need glasses now, 15.596. So we are rolling back well beyond that rate. So, of course, this is not considered a tax increase according to the Department of Revenue. That being said, the next page I have given you is a copy of what we will run in the newspaper, and we are required to put it on, post it on our website. And this is the current 18 digest and 5-year history of levy. If you go to the far right for 2018, all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see a net tax percentage increase of negative 0.03%. So what we are asking for, our budget, we budgeted $21,400,000. The millage rate, Dr. Wilson and I would like to have, would actually have our revenue, if everything was collected, of $21,409,000. Again, need glasses, 669. So that's as close as I could get without getting too many decimal places out. Because you don't want to go under it. I do need the 21.4. So, but overall, let me tell you a little about the digest. Real and personal property, we saw almost $39.5 million in growth, and that's at a 40% value. So that's fantastic. So the county is beginning to grow again. Motor vehicles, as expected, because of the change from birthday tax to TAVIT, there was a reduction of 6.6 million in the value there. An increase in mobile homes of over 600,000, which I thought was unusual, and I'm going to actually pursue that a little bit. Timber reduced to 0, and we had a reduction in heavy equipment. Overall, the gross digest increase was about 33.3 million, and then the net increase in the digest after exemptions and forest land assistance grant value, the increase is about 26 million. So overall, we are growing, and that's fantastic. If you look along through there, you'll see on the line that says adjusted net M&O digest, that's where we're going to call what our mill value is. So you can see in 13, it went down in 14, down in 15, In 16, it came back up. 17, of course, came up, and of course, this year it has come up. So we are on that upward swing again. And I've talked to the tax assessor many times this year, and there's a lot going on. Y'all can see building, I'm sure, in your areas and all around the county. Transfer truck full of some kind of equipment tried to run me over trying to get to a place to build a house the other day. So even though I'm glad to see it, didn't like almost being run over by the transfer truck. Do y'all have questions on this? I know this is a lot. This is early in the morning. These are the required format. I cannot change the format that this is in. This is exactly what I'm required to do from the Georgia Department of Revenue. So your third page is just samples of what various millage rates would produce, where we were last year at 15.67 and what that would have produced based on this digest. And then I did a variation just so you could see it. I wanted you to, see the different rates. If you do not like the recommendation we have on the table, that's where this is the time where we would need to discuss it, and then what effect I wanted you to see what effect it would have if we make a change up or down. So do y'all have questions? We got the digest, the final version of the digest about 2:20 on Wednesday. I scrambled. We were going to possibly try to get it to you Wednesday afternoon, so I apologize for having to have another meeting, but this is a big deal, very much so to me in particular. So I did not, Dr. Wilson and I talked about it. We probably could have scrambled and walked in here and had it for you at 5 o'clock at that meeting, but we would have had to amend the agenda, and we just had not had much time to talk about it because Dr. Wilson was quite busy that day, and I knew y'all had a large presentation that night, so we didn't want to muddle this. This is important. All we need this morning, is tentative approval. Then we run our required ads, and we will come back at our regular board meeting and ask for final approval. I can tell you that the indication I have been given from someone at the county is that they are going to reduce. I don't know how much. Pardon?
She's telling about, said right now she's hearing from the county, and she hadn't got to the point of what she heard from the county yet, as far as reducing.
The indication is they will reduce also. So this may be I wish I had a chance. This was a late night conversation last night. I wish I'd had a chance. I don't know that the county and us have ever been in sync on a reduction in quite a few years, because either they would or we would, but somebody went up and somebody went down, and we almost have offset each other for years. So most of the time taxpayers couldn't tell a difference in their tax bill. So this time it sounds like, now I'm not the authority for the county, so it sounds like they may reduce theirs too. So this could be a great thing. The state stays the same at 0.25 on the mill value. So trying to think of exemptions went up $7 million. I would have expected that because there's been so much conversation with various groups in the county over the last year. Let's see. I was trying to think of some of the different facts.
You said it went up. It increased.
It increased.
$7 million.
Yes. And when I say this is all based on the 40% value, so this is what we play off of. If you'd like to see a copy of the County Schools Digest, I have a copy of it and the county-wide available. I actually go through, just so you know what's kind of behind the scenes, and do, for my sake, an analysis of the past 5 years or so, and compare each and every category to make sure it looks like things make sense. I talked to the county finance person, I talked to the tax commissioner, I talked to the tax assessor. Anything that, there were a couple things we had in question. There were some code changes. There was a new exemption code at the state level. So lots of questions have been asked. I feel good about what we have at this point. Like I said, talk to the county. Everybody seems, we feel good about it. Everything's in balance. Tell me what you need to know at this point, but it looks good, and it puts us right where we have asked to be on the budget. So I feel very good to say we could roll it back that much and do what we need to do. So
just so I am very clear, make sure I give accurate information if someone asks. You said the exemptions are 7 million total, or 7 million more than they were?
7 million more.
Okay.
They're 133. hold on, if I can,
So through all the discussion of exemptions, I guess that means that more people have applied for these exemptions.
yes. 133,370,000 is what the total exemptions are, and that is state and local exemptions. It's everything from state and local. We have disability, people who are over a certain age who are disabled. We have veterans. There are different types. There are homestead exemptions at the state and local level. There's something called a Freeport exemption. There are, I was going to say, I can tell you how many there are real quick. How many categories. In our county, there are 10 state exemptions and 7 local. And what you could have, like a homestead, you can have a state homestead and a local homestead. You can have a state veteran and a local veteran. You can have a state disability. So every county is a little bit different. The state ones are the same. They're going to be the same for every county. So something like the Freeport exemption, the county does have to request, and Pickens County has done that. Because there's been so much conversation, things like the conservation use, which is when you have a larger tract of property and you can actually put it where you have a reduced tax rate, but there are rules and regs for about 10 years. You can't sell it without having to compensate and make up for the taxes. There are rules of things you can and can't do when you have this exemption. But I noticed that category, I believe that's the correct category, went up quite a bit. So I'm not surprised at that. We do have very large tracts in this county that.
So a lot of people have benefited from all this conversation on
Yes.
exemptions. I guess it's been realized that the exemptions existed and they took advantage of them.
I have had a lot of people who are just, your average couple who have bought a house and have been living in Pickens County for quite some time that were not aware of what a homestead exemption was. But because of things, coming out in the paper and on Facebook. I've had several over the course of the last few months say, what is a homestead exemption? So we go to the laptop and we pull up the county assessor's office where there's an explanation and a sample of calculation there. So I believe we've helped a few people found out how to go apply. Whether they did or not, I do not know. But I am surprised sometimes that a lot of people don't know if you have a home here, if it's your primary residence, that you are eligible for a state and local exemption. So that's where we are today.
Okay, Glenn, I know you're probably just getting bits and pieces of that probably.
Yeah.
But basically, without getting into the depth that Ms. Smith does.
Sorry.
It would be, taking us from our current 15.67 millage rate of 2017 to the 15.33, the largest increase in reduction in how long?
10 years.
10 years.
That sounds funny saying it that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Increase in
did I
reduction.
also understand her to say that the county is probably not going to increase theirs?
Yeah, right. It looks as though, it looks like the county, now she's
This
not speaking for the
indicated.
county by no means,
It's
but
not
it
official.
seems as though from indications she's receiving that they may go down as well. So instead of one going down and another one going up and people not really seeing a change in their tax bill, it appears as though if they go down, then people will actually see a change in their taxes.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that'd be nice, because normally if one goes down and
One
another
goes
one
up.
goes up, then it doesn't really, people don't reflect on an actual decrease. So that would be good if that happens.
Just for my knowledge, when is the last time that we went up? Because I've been here 8 years and we've never went up in 8 years.
I don't know if I have a 15-year history in my computer. I believe the last time we went up was from the 08 to 09 transition, because it was 1491, and I think it went to 15.1 if I'm remembering correctly. I'm pretty sure that's right.
So I just knew we've
But
always stayed the same or either reduced.
I
So it
know,
looks like the
I
past
know.
5 years, we've reduced the millage rate.
We've either held, in the last 10 years, we've either, since 09, it did increase from 08 to 09. 09, since 09, we have either held it at that rate. Let me make sure, I need to qualify that. I better not make that statement. I'm trying to remember if there was another. I believe 0809 was the last increase.
But the last 5 years, there's been
There's
a
no
reduction
increase.
every single year, a decrease.
It either held the same. Now, 13, 14, 15, it held the same. Then we reduced in 16, we reduced in 17, reduced in 18. It was 16.1 in,
We've reduced it the last
Okay.
3 years.
The last 3 years, it's been reduced.
the highest millage that I have seen since I've been here is the 16.1 in that 13, 14, 15 era. And so we have reduced since then.
In which it's all based on the digest
Digest.
anyway.
And of course,
So it sounds good saying we're reducing it, we are.
well, the digest is growing,
I like
so that does help produce more money. But again, this is matching what we budgeted. So, because we have our budget done ahead of the digest, of receiving the digest, so.
That's awesome.
And then what happened, if y'all approve the tentative rate, we do our ads, then we come back in the regular meeting, and then we will also ask for final approval of the budget. We are in a tentative approval with our budget, so we'll ask for final approval for the millage and the budget, the FY18 budget, 2018 millage. So we've already been advertising the tentative budget for weeks, so we've met that criteria for the state this year already. We had our public meetings, so we're good to go.
Delaney, have any more questions?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're ready to move forward here now. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the 2018 millage rate as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Tentative, I'm sorry, tentative.
I'll make a motion to approve the tentative 2018 millage rate.
Motion by Ms. Lewis,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Finley. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5, none opposed, motion carries. Gets us to board comments. Any board comments?
I would like to thank Amy for all her good work.
Yeah, she does good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, next will be to adjourn. Motion by
I'll be glad to make a motion to
Mr.
adjourn.
Long.
I'm so excited to get to work.
I'll second.
Ms. White. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5, none opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned.